Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you all the books that I got in November, so stay tuned. Okay, so these are all the books that I got in November. Well, not including anything that I got at Y'all Fest, because that's actually going to be a separate video of all the books I got signed and the books I bought and the books that were given to me. So you'll have to watch that in a couple of days if you want to see all of those. So some of you may have seen in a previous video, and if not, I'll let you know now. Tomorrow starts my Give Thanks and Read-a-thon. So if you haven't checked out that video, you should do that. And I hope you join me. I'm super excited to get started on it. It's my first weekend-long read-a-thon, so we'll see how that goes. I want to try to do something like this on a regular basis, maybe once a month or something like that. So let me know what you think of how this goes. Okay, so let's get into my November haul. Okay, so I'm going to start with the books that I got in subscription boxes. The first book here was, I believe, in an Owl Crate box, and that is Wild Beauty. And this cover is just freaking gorgeous, and it's green. It's so pretty. So this book is about a family of fairies. Well, actually I think they're all like female fairies, and they care for this garden, but they're kind of cursed because anytime they ever fall too deeply in love, the person they love just vanishes. And then one day this boy appears in the garden, and they believe that he may be a sign that all of their loves are going to come back. I think it's just gorgeous, and I can't wait to read it. To me, I think it would be a good like springtime read because of all the beautiful springy looking flowers. Okay, the next book came from Intellectual Intoxication's Erotic Plus Toy Box, and that is A Hunger Like No Other by Cresley Cole. Okay, so this is a paranormal romance. It is about this werewolf named Lachlan. He was tortured by a horde of vampires. And now he's discovered that the person that he is like predestined to be with, his mate for life, is a vampire. So that's what this one's about. And it's just a cheap, steamy romance. Okay, the next book in my haul is from the Owl Crate Junior box. And that is The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. And so shiny. And this book just looks so interesting. Like, there's all these really cool illustrations. They're like these kind of sketch charcoal type illustrations in the book. I mean, they look really cool. And this is a middle grade, but it's something that I'm totally going to read. Plus, Xander also said it sounded really cool. So it says, once there was magic, and the magic lived in the dark forest until the warriors came. Czar is a wizard boy who has no magic and will do anything to get it. Wish is a warrior girl, but she owns something forbidden, something magical, and she will do anything to conceal it. When stars collide, Czar and Wish must forget their differences if they are ever going to make it to the hidden dungeons at Warrior Fort, where something that has been sleeping for hundreds of years is stirring. I'm just so excited to read this because, you know, there's not a lot of books that I've read that actually have illustrations in them, and I'm kind of digging it. Okay, so the next book in my haul is from My Guilty Pleasures book crate, and it is Jordan's Shadow by T.R. Kupak. So this book says, Jordan, this story isn't about love, lust, or a happily ever after. This story, my story, is about struggle, pain, and suffering, fighting to stay afloat while being pulled under by what feels like the murky and powerful undertow of the ocean. fighting for strength I so desperately need when all I'm feeling is desolate and weak. I am a girl who exudes hatred when a normal girl of my age and pedigree should be the picture-perfect portrait of love. Alcohol consumes me, drugs numb me, sex for money feeds the hollow abyss deep within me. How does a 25-year-old escort turn her life around when the last 7 years of her life has been spent traveling down a very dark path? The shadow. She became my obsession, my every thought. She is the reason I wake up in the morning, plotting, scheming, exacting a revenge she so desperately deserves. But will she take my offer once she's learned my true identity, sees the darkness within me? Or will she hate me for lying to her all of these years, leading her to lose herself to the drugs and alcohol that have kept her ghosts at bay? Will she be my precious? And it sounds like a dark, twisted kind of romance. And I looked on Goodreads, and right now it only has 41 ratings. I guess it's a pretty new book, but it's got a 4.66 rating, which is pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. Okay, this next book came in my Pop Sugar box. Every once in a blue moon, they put a book in one of their boxes, and it's one of the reasons that it's one of my favorite boxes. I got Unqualified by Anna Faris, and the foreword's by Chris Pratt. And this is really just about her life. It says, in this book, you'll find stories of my relationships, both disastrous and heartwarming. You'll meet childhood Anna, pronounced Anna, rhymes with Donna, even though everyone gets it wrong and I never correct them. Armed with flannel shirts and menacing headgear, an adult Anna with more flannel shirts but much better teeth. You'll get some advice, a few lists, and some childhood photos. I thought that was cool. Okay, so this next book I actually found in the free bin at McKay's used bookstore. That is Marley and Me. And yes, I know this is going to make me cry. I've watched the movie, but I love it. And I saw this in the free bin, and I was like, okay, I have to have it. If you don't know about Marley and Me, it is about this family in the making and their neurotic dog that kind of teaches them what life is all about. And it's a really sweet book. I mean, it's a really sweet movie. And so I'm looking forward to reading the book. Okay, these next 6 books are books that I purchased from Barnes & Noble. So this is Starters. Now, I am pretty sure that I've actually read this like a long time ago, but I saw it and I was like, ooh, that looks cool. And then I read the back and I was like, you know what? This sounds familiar, but it's been forever since I've read it, so I get it anyway. Plus, it was like $3, so. And plus, I think I had like 20% off of everything I purchased, so. It says, Kaylee lost her parents when the Spore Wars wiped out everyone between the ages of 20 and 60. She and her little brother Tyler go on the run, living as squatters with their friend Michael and fighting off renegades who would kill them for a cookie. Callie's only hope is Prime Destinations, a disturbing place in Beverly Hills run by a mysterious figure known as the Old Man. He hires teens to rent their bodies to enders, seniors who want to be young again. Callie, desperate for the money that will keep her, Tyler, and Michael alive, agrees to be a donor, but the neurochip they place in her head malfunctions and she wakes up in the life of her renter. Callie soon discovers that her renter intends to do more than party and that Prime Destination's plans are more evil than she could ever have imagined. Also, I think maybe this was a movie as well. Oh, and this is by Liza Price. Liza, I'm not sure. Okay, the next book I got from Books A Million is The Third Twin by C.J. Omolulu. Not sure if I said that right. And this was another bargain book they had. Okay, so this book is about these twin girls who, growing up, anytime they'd ever get in trouble, they would blame it on Alicia, their third twin, that was like their imaginary friend. You know, everybody was like, oh, whatever. But then years later, a boy turns up dead, and the DNA evidence happens to be of Alicia, the third twin. So that's what this book's about. And I just thought that sounded really interesting. Okay, so the next book that I got from Books A Million is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. And initially I picked this up because I was like, oh, it's pink. And it was also a bargain book for like $2.97. And later I actually heard somebody on BookTube talking about this book. So we have this group of girls, and they believe that one of them is possessed. So they decide they are going to save her, and apparently their form of exorcism is more like torture. So that's what this is about. Such a pretty book for such a twisted tale. Okay, next from Books A Million is A Passion for Him by Sylvia Day. And this is another bargain book. Stranger. He wears a mask and he is following her, staring at her like no other man since Colin. But Colin is dead, and Amelia believes she will never again shiver with pleasure, never again sigh his name. Lover. Until her masked pursuer lures her into a moonlit garden and a single reckless kiss. Now she's obsessed with discovering his identity, perfectly attuned to his every desire, his every thought. She will not stop until she knows his every secret. And well, that sounded like fun. One of the blurbs says, the undisputed mistress of tender erotic romance. Another said, boldly passionate, scorchingly sexy. Okay, so the next book from Books A Million was The Raven, which apparently is the first in a trilogy called the Florentine Trilogy by Sylvia Reynard. This is another bargain book. On the front here it says, The Raven is a fabulous gothic treat of a book filled with ancient vampires, dark vendettas, and star-crossed love. And apparently it's a contemporary romance because it says so right here. It says, Ravenwood spends her days at Florence's Uffizi Gallery restoring Renaissance art, but an innocent walk home after an evening with friends changes her life forever. When she intervenes in the senseless beating of a homeless man, his attackers turn on her, dragging her into an alley. Raven is only semi-conscious when their assault is interrupted by a cacophony of growls, followed by her attacker's screams. Mercifully, she blacks out, but not before catching a glimpse of a shadowy figure who whispers to her, Casita vulneratus. When Raven awakes, she's inexplicably changed. Upon returning to Uffizi, no one recognizes her. More disturbingly, she discovers that she's been absent an entire week. With no recollection of her disappearance, Raven learns that her absence coincides with one of the largest robberies in Uffizi history, the theft of a set of priceless Botticelli illustrations. When the police identify her as their prime suspect, Raven is desperate to clear her name. She seeks out one of Florence's wealthiest and most elusive men in an attempt to uncover the truth. Their encounter leads Raven to a dark underworld whose inhabitants kill to keep their secrets. And this sounds awesome. It sounds like it's got like a little bit of everything. Okay, and then the last book that I got from Books A Million is After Alice by Gregory Maguire. And when I saw this, I was just like, oh, I have to have it. And he wrote the Wicked series, which I also loved so much. And I have no idea what this is about other than Alice in Wonderland. And if it's anything as awesome as Wicked, then I'm going to love this as well. Let's look at... Oh my gosh, I did not even look at this. Oh my gosh. So this is like London. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I love this cover. That is so cool. Okay. And you can kind of see it through this, which is awesome. Okay, so it says, down the rabbit hole where adventures await. When Alice toppled down the rabbit hole 150 years ago, she found a wonderland as rife with inconsistent rules and abrasive egos as the world she left behind. But what of that world? How did 1860s Oxford react to Alice's disappearance? In this brilliant new work of fiction, Gregory Maguire turns his dazzling imagination to the question of underworlds, undergrounds, underpinnings, and understandings, old and new, offering an inventive spin on Carol's enduring tale. Ada, a friend of Alice's mentioned briefly in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, is off to visit her friend, but arrives a moment too late and tumbles down the rabbit hole herself. Ooh. Ada brings to Wonderland her own imperfect apprehension of cause and effect as she embarks on an odyssey to find Alice and see her safely home from this surreal world below the world. The White Rabbit, the Cheshire Cat, the bloodthirsty Queen of Hearts, droll and imperious as always, interpret their mad tea party to suggest a conundrum. If Eurydice can ever be returned to the arms of Oedipus, or if Lazarus can be raised from the tomb, perhaps Alice can be returned to life. In any case, everything that happens next is after Alice. And okay, so I hadn't even read that until just now, and yeah, it sounds awesome. I love all retellings. They're my favorite, as I've said probably 50 times already. But I'm really looking forward to this book. Okay, the next 4 books I have I ordered from Thrift Books. We have Graceling by Kristen Kishore. And I've heard this book mentioned by several others on BookTube. I was like, okay, I'll check it out. It's about this girl. Okay, so everybody in this land is born with a special skill. They call it a grace. And our main character is born with the skill to kill. I guess maybe with the touch or something. And her uncle might be an executioner or torture those that don't do what he wants. So that's what this is about. Sorry for the abrupt lighting change. I actually got a call from a friend and she wanted to go and see a movie and do dinner. So it's night now and yeah, there's no sun out at all shining this way. But we went and saw Daddy's Home too, and it was so funny. I loved it. It was hilarious. I was laughing like the whole time. But anyway, let's get back to the haul. Okay, so the next 2 books I have are the first 2 in the Ironface series. We have the Iron King and the Iron Daughter. And this is about a girl named Megan Chase who is 16 and she's never quite felt like she fits in. Her father passed away when she was 6 years old. And, well, she learns that the reason she's never really felt like she fit in is because she's not human. She is the daughter of the Fairy King. And that's really all I know about this. I've decided to buy the first 2 in the series. You know, if I read one and I like it, I want to be able to immediately go to the next one and not have to wait. Next, I got Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. And I got this because, well, next month is December and I wanted to have some kind of Christmassy read. It says, an ill-timed storm on Christmas Eve buries the residents of Gracetown under multiple feet of snow and causes quite a bit of chaos. One brave soul ventures out into the storm from her stranded train and sets off a chain of events that will change quite a few lives. Over the next 3 days, one girl takes a risky shortcut with an adorable stranger. Three friends set out to win a race to the Waffle House and the hash brown spoils. And the fate of a teacup pig falls into the hands of a lovesick barista. A trio of today's best-selling authors, John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle, bring all the magic of the holidays to life in 3 hilarious and charming interconnected tales of love, romance, and kisses that will steal your breath away. And I just thought that sounded cute. So the next book I got was from Walmart. It's called Don't Cry by Beverly Barton. And it says, nowhere to run. The crime scenes are horrifying. The victims, arranged with deliberate care, pose to appear alive despite their agonized last moments and the shocking nature of their deaths. No place to hide. Chattanooga grief counselor Audrey Sherrod moonlights for the local police. It's clear to her and to Special Agent J.D. Cass that the murders are the work of a deranged serial killer. At first, the only link is the victim's similar physical appearance. But then another connection emerges, tying them to a long ago series of horrifying crimes Audrey hoped would never resurface. Crimes that hit all too close to home. No time to cry. Each grisly new discovery proves the past has not been forgotten, and the worst is yet to come. Audrey went looking for the truth, and she's about to find it, and will be more twisted and more terrifying than she ever imagined. Okay, so I thought this sounded really good, and like good murder, mystery, suspense type thing. But I also thought it was really cool because it's based in Chattanooga, which is, you know, where I live, which I thought was pretty awesome. So the last book I have in my haul, I actually pre-ordered from Amazon, and it arrived on November 7th, just in time for Y'all Fest. And yes, I did bring it with me so I could get it signed. And it is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. And she signed it to Melanie. Do you have what it takes? Marissa Meyer. It says, the Renegades are a syndicate of prodigies, humans with extraordinary abilities who emerge from the ruins of a crumbled society and establish peace and order where chaos reigned. As champions of justice, they remain a symbol of hope and courage to everyone except the villains they once overthrew. Nova has a reason to hate the Renegades, and she's on a mission for vengeance. As she gets closer to her target, she meets Adrian, a renegade boy who believes in justice and in Nova. But Nova's allegiance is to a villain who has the power to end them both. Heroes, villains, superpowers, it all sounds awesome. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Readathon starts tomorrow. I suppose I can put the rules down in the bottom of this as well, and down in the description box if you're interested. But I do hope that you join me, and you can follow me on my Twitter and my Instagram, which I'll also have linked down below. I'm excited. Are you excited? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time,